Joel Dreessen, he was a tight end. You guys remember him playing with the Denver Broncos. And right after Dave Tollefson, we bring in another guest. Joel Dreessen, thank you so much for joining us on Over the Top Sports Radio.
You got it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us. And, you haven't been away from the league too long. What is a weekend like this, all the spotlight on the NFL, Super Bowl and all that, just your thoughts on this weekend's game. And now that you're out of the league, do you view it a different way?
No, I don't really view it a different way. I love championship contests, and there's no better one than the Super Bowl. The most competitive, the most competitive sport, the most competitive business in the world, and the team, the organization who does it best gets crowned on Sunday. That's really, really special in my opinion. So, I prefer to sit around and watch the game by myself, but my wife kind of parades me around to parties, so I got to go make an appearance at a neighbor's crappy party, and that'll be my plan.
Yeah. Joel, I want to take you back to 2012. You signed with the Denver Broncos, and then so does Peyton. What were your thoughts? Like, I'm going to be the starting tight end with Peyton Manning here. I mean, you had to just be ecstatic.
Yeah, well, I like to think that I signed first and Peyton came here because of me, but it was actually kind of the opposite. He signed first, and then they went through the free agent process with myself, so I was able to sign with the Broncos. It was thrilling. It was thrilling. I was actually really nervous because I just spent 5 years with Houston and wanted to. I did want to stay with Houston. I thought we were building a great thing there. We won the division for the first time in 2011 and played in a playoff game, won a playoff game, so that was really a lot of fun. I didn't really want to leave, but you know how it goes. Free agency goes to the highest bidder, and then it didn't hurt that Peyton Manning was going to be the quarterback.
What was it like playing with a Hall of Famer like Peyton Manning? Did he pressure you guys? How was his preparation?
It was a lot of fun. I had no idea the difference that an elite quarterback made until I actually spent some time with him. And just his ability to communicate, to get us in the right play, to be so cerebral about anything, calculated about everything, and his preparation was lacking in no way, shape, or form. Just really enjoyed my time around Peyton.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, you started with Houston and kind of made a name for yourself there. To go from Houston to Denver, I mean, everything is different. Everything about those two teams is different. But what do you enjoy most about your time in Houston? I know you caught your first touchdown pass from Sage Rosenfeld. So to go from him to a guy like Peyton Manning had to be quite the difference too.
Are you marginalizing Sage Rosenfeld?
No, not at all. Listen, he was a giant. If I remember, he was a giant. We liked him here.
I'm kidding. So I was drafted by the Jets, and I played there for Herm Edwards as a rookie, and Eric Mangini comes in my second year, and I get cut after training camp. And I still despise that man to this day. I'd love to have a conversation with him, but zero respect for him as a ball coach, absolute dickweed. And then I spent a whole year out of football. Nobody wanted me. Finally got another chance with Houston, and I made it a point to really get my career on track, and played in every single game for the next 5 years, and then I was able to end up in Denver, and unfortunately the injury decides for most of us, and that was my case with my knee injury.
In Houston, you played with Owen Daniels, another great tight end. And what did you learn from him? The reps in practice, and this is a guy that had a very, very good career.
I loved Owen Daniels. Owen taught me so much. His ability to get open. He ran 3 or 4 routes better than any tight end in the NFL for a while before he started dealing with knee injuries himself. But he taught me a lot as far as how to get open, run routes, understand coverages. Owen and I worked very closely together for 5 years. Man, we're still good. We're still friends. We still keep in touch. Really, really learned a lot from him.
What would you say the highlight of your career was, your favorite time in the NFL?
My favorite time in the NFL is probably 2011. 2011 with the Houston Texans. So get this. We had just lost Matt Schaub, our starting quarterback. He goes down. The very next game, our backup quarterback, Matt Leinart, breaks his collarbone. We're on to our third-string rookie quarterback. and we're playing at home versus the Atlanta Falcons. Everybody's wondering what's the Texans going to do? Are they going to be able to keep this winning streak on tack? Are they going to be able to win the division? And T.J. Yates, the rookie fifth-round pick, throws me a touchdown pass. And it's kind of a controversial call. It's right there at the goal line, so it's under review. But I knew it was a damn touchdown. And the whole north end of the stadium was just chanting my last name, Dreessen. And it was just one of the most surreal moments of my life because there was going to be no denying that ball team that year. We were going to win the division. We were going to go make the playoffs for the very first time. And just to be able to be a part of that was really cool. Obviously, my time spent here in Denver was really phenomenal. I grew up a Broncos fan. I played at Colorado State University. And to be able to come home and spend a couple of years playing with the Broncos and Peyton Manning, that was really special too. But if there was one moment, it would be that moment in Houston.
And that season, you guys started 10-3 that season. You ended up going to the playoffs, beating Cincinnati in the first round, the wild card round, before losing to Baltimore. What about that little playoff ride that you guys had in Houston? Because in 2010, you guys played the Giants, and all of us, we went to Houston to see. You guys played the New York Giants. We're big Giants fans. You had a good team there in 2010 with Kubiak. We thought on paper, but it was really 11 that you guys really started to make a name for yourselves.
Right. Well, in 2010, we had I think it was the worst pass defense in the history of the NFL. We couldn't cover anybody. So we moved on from our defensive coordinator and hired Wade Phillips. And Wade, in traditional Wade fashion, takes the defense from worst to first. And that was all the difference for us. Then all of a sudden in 2011, they were creating turnovers and giving the offense a short field. Man, if not for those quarterback injuries, sometimes I wonder that playoff run, we held tight. We played in Baltimore. I think we only ended up losing by a touchdown, but it's kind of one of those deals. What might have been.
And Joel, you played for two big time coaches, Gary Kubiak, John Fox. What were the differences between the two? I read that you would take a bullet for Gary Kubiak, so clearly a lot of love there.
Yeah, I love my time spent with Kubiak. He came at you with a very, almost like a father-like approach. He was a player himself, so he understood kind of the pressures we would go through, how you would feel walking into a stadium just nervous as hell. He really empathized with us, and his coaching style reflected that. Got along very well with him. Was one of the most honest coaches I'd ever been around. He would flat out, if you walked into his office and you wanted an honest assessment, he was going to give it to you. And I really appreciated that about him. I enjoyed my time with John Fox. He was a little bit different style than Kubiak. He was more of a defensive mind, so he ran things a little bit differently. But like I said, my NFL career was nothing but a blessing. I look back at it with great fondness. I miss doing it. I'd give anything to be able to be Gronkowski and go catch touchdown passes from Tom Brady and win damn Super Bowls. That would be awesome. But, I'm very grateful for the time I had.
It's hard to talk about today's NFL without talking about the national anthem protests. You were pretty vocal about it when Colin Kaepernick did his kneel the first time. You said you would stomp Kaepernick's toes. Do you regret saying anything like that? And how do you feel about the protests still going on?
Yeah, I definitely regret saying that. I responded very emotionally. I shouldn't have said that. I said it tongue-in-cheek, said it very facetiously. Obviously, I would have never inflicted violence or picked a fight with any kind of teammate. I never would have done that. Just reacted really emotionally at first. I just didn't understand. But the more he explained himself, it's still not something I would ever do. It's not something I would ever do. But I respect those that made the choice to do that and the causes that they were kneeling for. So, I definitely regret saying that.
There's a lot of people who agree with you, too.
Yeah, so. All of us agree with you.
We've actually had people today tell us that they're not going to watch the Super Bowl because of that still. So, it's still being felt around the league. 1140 over the Top Sports Radio. Joel Dreessen on with us. We had Dave Thompson on, Giants defensive end, just right before you, and he was talking about how much he hated the Eagles. The Baltimore Ravens, is that your team? Back-to-back years, you guys had really good teams, a chance to maybe make a Super Bowl run, and it seemed like the Ravens, especially in 2012 when you were with Denver, you guys were 13-3. They beat you guys, I think, 38-35 in just a close game. Is that a team that maybe you look back on without the fondest of memories?
Well said, sir. I hate the damn Ravens. Are you kidding me? We had their asses beat in that divisional playoff game. We're up by 7 points, right? 38 seconds to go all season long. That's when Von Miller and Elvis Dumerville, they just take over. They do their thing. We know the Ravens got to throw it. They have no timeouts, and it's 3rd and 5, and Flacco gets flushed up in the pocket and launches that ball up to Jacoby Jones. Oh, it's gut-wrenching to me to this day. And Raheem Moore just does something he was never, ever coached to do. I don't know why he was backpedaling as a safety, trying to cover the deep pass. I usually don't call out my teammates like that, but, man, I'm just frustrated because he abandoned his technique. He abandoned his fundamentals in the most important moment of the damn game. Okay, yeah, see, the Ravens getting me fired up. We got to move on.
So when you saw the Stephon Diggs touchdown a couple weeks ago, did that bring up bad memories?
It did. That was the wildest thing I'd ever seen. I felt so bad for the Saints. But at the same time, I felt thrilled for the Vikings because they just kept playing. They kept playing. They never stopped. And that's what you have to do in the NFL. But Marcus Williams, the safety for the Saints, he's had a phenomenal season. And for him to, just like Raheem Moore, abandon his technique and fundamentals in the most important moment of the game. He didn't keep his eyes up. He didn't see what he was going to hit. Well, all he had to do was break down, make that tackle them in bounds, and they win the ball game. They had to be NFC Championship, and instead it's going to be one of the most famous plays in NFL history.
All right, we got Super Bowl 52 tomorrow. Give us your prediction.
I mean, I'd love to sit here and say that the Eagles are going to win the ball game, but if the game is even close in the fourth quarter, we all know what the Patriots are going to do. The Patriots are too mentally tough. There's ice water in their veins. They know what they're doing. They win the fourth quarter. The only way to beat the Patriots is to relentlessly beat the hell out of Tom Brady and win the fourth quarter. If the Eagles can do that, they have a chance. But even if they do, I still don't think they get it done in crunch time. I think the Patriots are going to win another one.
I see. So we're all in agreement here. And, as an Arizona State alum and Arizona State fan, I was going to ask you your thoughts on Herm Edwards taking over since you knew him, but we'll stay away from that one at this time.
No, I like Herm Edwards, actually. Herm's great. Mangini was the one who cut me. Me and Herm were boys. I give Herm a hug.
Yeah, so a lot of good things to look forward to then for me in the Pac-12. Maybe a chance that we can actually make some noise one of these years?
I don't have a crystal ball in my pocket, but, yeah, I hope so. For the sake of you and for the sake of Herm, I hope so.
All right, well, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes. A great guest as always. Joel Dreessen on Over the Top Sports Radio. Thank you so much. We hope that you enjoy those really fun Super Bowl parties you're going to be heading to tomorrow night.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Joel Dreessen, former NFL tight end, played with Peyton Manning, played on Denver and Houston, and played on some pretty good teams. He had a chance to go on those Ravens. I mean, that's a heartbreaking loss that you talk about. You remember that 70-yard catch by Jones. When it happened, just like with Stephon Diggs, we're sitting there as fans watching it. You don't think about the guys that, worked their whole lives to get there. And, you don't think about the players. You think about the fans. But think about the players. That was his chance.
That's